Welcome. This is Gillman, and I am joined, as always.
This is Squall Snake, editor-in-chief of MyGamer.com, and today we are playing Vampire Survivors, specifically the new DLC, or some of the DLC, the latest DLC. This is actually the Contra DLC, which I've been meaning to kind of pick up and play by myself. I have not had a chance to check it out yet, but I was like, this is a great crossover. I am very interested in this. I want to learn more. So I haven't seen this yet, so I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, ask me anything about it.
I just noticed when you booted that up, you get to pick one of the like your first kind of like starting perk, and you had the whole screen filled out. I have like four cards filled out, not like all three rows of 7 or 8 cards, whatever that was. So you've been playing this like way more than I have.
Oh,
And you've been
yeah.
getting how'd you get crazy power-ups like that? Like you killed like one dude and you got to choose like a million different things.
So the first one was the tarot cards. You might not have unlocked that yet.
Yeah, I guess I did not
So
unlock that
tarot
yet.
cards, one of the tarot cards that I always go for is it brings every item on the stage directly to you.
Oh, that's excellent because yeah, and otherwise you gotta like walk and it takes like 10 minutes to like walk to the one thing.
Yeah. So with this, it just drags
Mm,
all of them to you.
I definitely do not have that, and I like how this is very much Contra. Like you're shooting the laser bolts, you
Oh,
got the circling fire beams, the spread kind of shot thing.
it gets more Contra.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it actually kind of really is.
Yeah, like they knew what they were doing,
Well,
and
like
this
all
is
of the
like the Contra like forest level 2, which is pretty cool.
yeah. Um No, they very much knew
Mhm.
what they were doing when they made this.
Yeah, it seems like such a like I'm like super glad that they did it, but I like never would have expected a
It's the same
Vampire
thing with Among
Survivor.
Us. I
Yeah,
never,
I didn't even know that there was an Among Us thing until you just booted it up right before the stream. It's like they had an Among Us DLC. I did not know that.
yeah, and all of their DLCs, just like the game, are super affordable.
Yeah, they were only like $2 or
Yeah.
something like that. And so I been playing the game on Game Pass because it's just free on Game Pass. And then I was thinking, even though I don't technically own the game, I was thinking about buying some of the DLC
If
because
I
the
knew
DLC is not free
if I
on
knew
Game
how
Pass.
to gift video games on Game Pass, at the end of the stream I would buy you this game.
I don't think you could gift.
I don't
I don't
think
think
you
that's an
can.
option.
I don't know that you
Yeah.
can. That's one of my favorite things to do in Steam is I
Hmm.
aggressively gift friends of mine very awful games.
Man, you got like crazy like that bomb that blows up everybody on the
That's
screen at one
Contra.
time.
That's in the Contra
That's
stuff.
that's the yeah, that's the B like thing that you could grab, whatever that is, the bomb icon thing.
Yep.
I like how you're playing against like the Probotector enemies, like which is like the European version because they couldn't shoot other humans, so they just made them robots.
Oh, yeah. So every 2 minutes, it drags all of the items around me together.
Wow. Yeah, this is how you get crazy. Yeah, I don't have any of this, so I haven't. That's why I haven't beaten like a lot of the
A lot of
base
the
game stuff because it gets tough, man. Like you get
the
your ass kicked right around like the 15-minute mark, maybe 20-minute, but the last 30 minutes is like that's like really hard.
the last 5 minutes, they normally will just throw an endless barrage of screen filling guys. Um,
Absolutely, yeah.
y- you get used to it, and you learn. One of the big things is like knowing offhand what weapons you want. So when you do like pick something up, like I want this or I want that.
Yeah, I usually go I like to go with the garlic and the Bible combination because then like if anybody gets near you, they're just gonna kind of die. And then you mix it up with like, if you can like upgrade the knives fully, like that's pretty powerful. The boomerang cross thing isn't bad if you can upgrade that a little bit.
I normally go for the clock lancet, which is the thing that freezes people,
Hmm.
and the laurel, the thing that just gives you temporary immunity like every now and then. The only
Hmm.
reason is when you evolve those, they turn into like two of the most powerful weapons in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I like when you get the Bibles all the way upgraded. They're just always on.
Yep.
They never go away. Yeah, because I haven't played these Contra ones, so like the like the laser and the fuzzy circle bullet thing, like that's like what is have you upgraded those all the way yet? I'm curious to see like what the
No.
final evolution is.
Laser is it just is a laser beam that bounces around the
Mm,
stage.
hmm.
Um, I the fire one, I this is the first time using it because of this guy.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, they all turn into what you would expect a Contra weapon to be, basically.
and we might have not captured it at the beginning of the stream, but there's a lot of Contra characters to play as.
Oh yeah.
And is there more than one Contra level? Like this is a Contra level. Is there like the waterfall level? Is there the base state? What other levels do you
To my
know?
knowledge, there's only two.
Okay.
This and one when you're on a motorcycle.
Okay. From like hardcore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the level loops infinitely for 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's cool. It's different because like if you're on a motorcycle, like there's no other motorcycle level, and where else are you going to have an excuse to put a
Oh, even like
motorcycle
the
level?
Among Us DLC was entirely different
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Like it literally would give you objectives that you had to run around and do.
Now it would make sense if they have Contra, which is Konami. Why not have a Castlevania, which is also Konami? Maybe that's coming because like Vampire Survivors, Castlevania, like that's
They have Castle. They have this because a new game was coming out.
yeah we played the Operation Galuga. We played the demo of it on Switch a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
so it makes sense like in terms of like timing. Like let's build the hype with because like Konami they didn't have to make this. Just the developer, just
Yeah,
like hey let me just use the Contra license, and Konami's like okay fine just give us a little bit of money or whatever it is. So I'm sure there was a deal made, but why there should be Castlevania DLC like that just makes perfect sense, all the sense in the world.
they just released Castlevania DLC for V Rising.
Yes, correct. Yes, that's the big V Rise. Yeah. So, maybe, in a couple of months, by the end of the year, they'll be like, okay, last Vampire Survivors DLC will be Castlevania. Who knows?
I
But
don't know that they're going to stop doing DLC
yeah,
for
I mean,
this game.
if people keep buying the stuff, but yeah, I like the crossover aspect of it. It's a great way to
Well,
bring really good new life into a game,
yep,
especially if it's like a well-known IP. Like, why not?
at one point they updated the entire engine because like they realized like what they were doing and what the game had turned into wasn't didn't really run super great on the engine
Mhm.
that they had built it on, so they just completely redid the game from the ground up, and like it wasn't an upgrade or anything like that. They just pushed it out one day.
Makes me wonder, like, what other Vampire Survivor crossover would be really good? I would think, like, why not, I don't know, Smash TV, like I said, Castlevania. Why not, go crazy and like Metal Gear, speaking of Konami, like I think there could be a lot of ridiculous
Metal
but
Gear would be
cool.
weird.
Metal Gear would be weird, but that's kind of like why I might like it. I don't know.
Hmm.
But I don't know, like, uh, Shantae, like, why not? Like, there could be like a lot of potential
I'm actually
for.
playing through the Seven Sirens right now. I got it when it came out, and it was one of those I just never got around to it.
Mhm,
I've
mhm.
played and beaten every Shantae game.
Yeah, there's a few of them given away as like the games with gold Xbox. I think a couple of them might even still be on Game Pass, maybe. Um,
They're really
I've
good.
I've always started them, but I've never finished a Shantae game, which
Yeah,
is my own fault.
yeah. I don't. Okay, I take that back. I've never played the ones on Game Boy. From what I understand, those ones
Mhm.
are extremely difficult.
Yeah, the Game Boy Color one, obviously the first one. Then there was like the DS, versions, but which were
Yep,
eventually ported.
to everything.
Yeah, like later on. So like pretty much you could play like every Shantae game on a major console these days. Because even like the original Game Boy games on Switch officially. So you can play it right like that's awesome. You get the little the bridge, which is in the first stage.
Oh,
That's cool.
that's why I was like, okay, I actually have to
Yeah,
like
yeah, like
move
go,
and
yeah, you're
move
right.
and show
But
him
just
more of this
yeah,
instead
yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. You get like the alien bug enemy guy things. That's cool. Yeah, this is where it's just getting crazy, and it's already only 7 minutes in.
Exploding cars.
Yeah,
Like everything is from a Contra game too. It's
that's all. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's what I mean. They really, if they're like, well, if we got the license, let's really do this right.
yeah.
I think like Nintendo would never get into this, but it'd be cool to have like a Metroid one. Like that would be pretty
Metroid
badass.
would be neat. Um,
Yeah,
Zelda.
sure. You
I'd
could
love to
do,
get a Master
this,
Sword pickup.
sure, why not like Dragon Quest, like fight a bunch of slimes, like that'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, this game, oddly enough, ends up. Well, Dragon Quest has been fucking that IP's been on everything.
I mean, why not? You would think like maybe like when Final Fantasy Remake came out, like that would be kind of cool. I don't know, like maybe that'd be a stretch, but like Final Fantasy 7 DLC, like cross media, why not? Again, the sky might be the limit here. It's going to be curious to see where this goes in the next 6 to 12 months. What else? What other Vampire Survivors nonsense can we get?
I, I honestly, every time they release one, I'm like, I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, that's my point. Is like the weirder the kind of, but like the better, like make it unexpected. That's what makes it good and interesting.
Also, one of the other things that I do when I'm trying to like do a run to the end is not pick up the level items until I've already picked up everything I can from leveling up. And that way I get more items and more
Mm-hmm.
weapons.
That flamethrower that you just had, that was a badass. You need that. You get overwhelmed, even
Oh,
though this is under 10 minutes still. It's not even the 10-minute mark.
I'm not worried in any shape. In any way, I'm not
I
worried.
mean, yeah, your guy has like a ton of energy, I think, too. Or like he's getting his health back really quick because it seems like you're taking some damage, but it's not like doing anything.
I have all of the upgrades unlocked.
Hmm. Yeah.
And they do. You just have to kind of find
Hmm.
floor chicken,
Yeah.
which I believe is the actual name for it in this game.
Yeah. It's not wall meat, it might be floor chicken,
Yeah.
which is also, and it looks like just like the exact same wall chicken sprite from Castlevania.
Yep.
I wonder what's going to
Ooh,
happen.
what
Like
evolved? Oh, the
if
laser
you get
evolved.
let's see what happens now. Damn. Yeah. I wonder, like, if you get like, is there going to be like a Contra boss,
Yes, there
at like the
absolutely
20,
is.
at like the 25-minute mark or something like that?
I believe that's around where it is. Yeah. I
Hmm.
wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, there's a,
Yeah.
and it's exactly Contra. It plays exactly like Contra.
Which boss, or like, are there multiple bosses? Is it like that big? Is it like the heart at the end of Contra One? The
Nope.
end, that boss. Is it that like sausage boss
Nope.
in the last level?
Nope.
You're not gonna
I'm
tell
just
me
like
now.
not telling you. Yeah. Um, no, it's the best one they could have picked.
Hmm. Is it like the wall? Like the level one
Nope.
wall boss. I don't know how you make that thing move. That'd be really weird,
It's a
but
boss from Super Contra.
Super Contra. Hmm. From Super C or Contra 3?
I don't know.
Oh.
Super C or Contra
Contra,
Super
the one on Super Nintendo, or the second one on
the
original
one
Nintendo?
it's on Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay, that's Contra 3 Alien Wars.
Yeah. Maybe it's from
Or Hardcore?
I might be from Hardcore.
Hmm.
It's an ex,
Yeah, I
it's an
played a
ex,
lot, I played one and two on Nintendo, and then three on Super Nintendo a lot. Very limited with hardcore because that is a hard ass game. Like that game is so friggin' hard. Like the other games you can kind of, you could beat Contra. You could beat Contra 2 if you're good enough, but then there's still really hard games, don't get me wrong, but like hardcore on Genesis, man, that was like this game is so hard. I can't beat level 2. Like even with practice.
Yeah, I I'm not great at video games all the time, certain ones of them, but
Yeah.
I Contra was just always slightly out of my skill
hmm
reach.
Yeah, I could beat Contra 1. Like that's not too bad. But Contra, see, the problem with like Contra 2 when it came out on Nintendo is you'd put the code in, but instead of getting 30 lives, you got 10 instead of 3. It might have been like 5. It was like you still did not get anywhere near the number of lives, and it was way harder. The sequel was way harder than the original. So it's like you got a double whammy. Not enough guys and even harder. Yeah, I don't have these purple cards. I only have like a couple of them
Yeah,
unlocked in my game.
yeah, you go to there's an unlock screen that you can go to, and
hmm
it'll give you like hints on what you need to do.
Yeah, because that's the other thing that I'm getting into now. It's like you have to get the relic in this stage to unlock the next thing, and then or beat it with this guy to unlock the next thing. It's
Yeah,
like
a lot
it's
they
so
do
hard.
that for a lot of the characters is okay, play 15 minutes with this character to unlock the next one.
You know what? There, let me ask you if you know, because there's one level, the Bone Zone, maybe,
Hmm.
where you start the level and you have to walk down to
Hmm.
get an item.
Hmm.
But when you walk down, there's like death, and he's got like this like miasma wave where you can't go through it. I
That's
don't
the
know how you beat that.
tower. It's one of the
Yeah,
tower levels.
you okay,
Um,
yeah, whatever. I don't know how you get past the death. I don't like because you can't fight. Like he walks away, you
so
can't fight him, and I don't know how to like. I can't walk fast enough to get down to
you
collect the
can
thing.
kill him. You can absolutely kill him. But characters also have like movement speed and shit. So what you do is
Yes,
you have to I forget which one it is, but there's a couple characters that you can that have a really high movement speed that you
yeah,
can
yeah.
just go all the way down. Go all the way down and the background ends up fading out and there's like
Mm.
a fight down there that you do to unlock a guy.
Yeah, because I played once with like the character who can walk really fast, but then I got there, but then I didn't have like no upgrades to like I couldn't defend myself along like when I finally got there because it's like kind of powerful. A few minutes went by, more enemies are appearing, and so like I got completely obliterated. It's like I don't understand how to get this because by the time you get down there, you're underpowered, but you have to rush it to get there in time.
Yeah, it's not all of the unlocks are super easy.
Yeah, that's
Um,
like the next one that and I feel like if I got that one, then like a bunch of other ones are gonna be available. It's like the basically the only one left that I kinda need to do, and I just cannot get it. It's super hard.
I remember I had an issue with the last of the core game unlocks. Um,
Mhm,
her name's like Sigma or something, but she's
mhm,
also a cheat character. Like if you just
mm.
need to clear a level or something, you pick her. I've never had her die ever.
Okay, yeah, I don't think I have the cheat character because otherwise I would have picked her to clear out this one stupid mission that I have to do.
Uh, one more.
Yeah, I like when you max out everything, the game is like, "Do you wanna get some health back or do you wanna get some extra gold?" Like you reach that
Yep.
point,
All
you know, they
right.
gotta give you
So now
something.
we start this fun.
Oh, jeez.
What weapon do I? That's not a weapon. These are accessories.
Mhm. Spinach is always kinda safe because it just upgrades everything.
Um,
But if you have a dominant flamethrower, do you really need to be stronger? I don't know.
yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah, this is where the game, like, will your computer freeze?
Yeah. So, thankfully, I have a decent computer. Also, when you pick up uh, the level items, these guys appear for the rings and the
Hmm.
symbols. The guys in robes.
Yeah.
And if you beat them, they
Mhm.
drop something that they drop an egg, and that egg permanently upgrades your character.
Oh, because I know when you kill some of the let's call them like the boss characters, usually have that glow
Yep.
around them. Usually treasure chest.
Yep. And when you start unlocking the tarot cards, you'll get ones
Mhm.
that drop tarot card chests,
Okay.
and that's how you get more tarot cards.
No, okay, yeah, I've not. I've only, like I said, I've only gotten a few. I was wondering how you get more of those because
So
I've
you
just
go
never beaten bosses and never gotten that
there's
far.
there's a screen that you can go to
Hmm.
on the home screen of this that
Hmm.
literally says unlocks, and you go in there and just see what you have, and it'll tell you what you have to
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Vampire Survivors, man, always a good time. It's funny because now I feel like, so for the last couple of years, I've been complaining that there's so many roguelike games. Every game that comes out is a stupid roguelike. It's not just like this, but it's not like a typical like platformer. It's been in like sports games, it's been in puzzle games, it's
mhm.
like all these different types of deck builders, you name it. There's been a rogue-like version of any other kind of genre. So I feel like now any game that comes out is either still a roguelike or B, a Vampire Survivors clone. There's
There
so
are a
many
lot of
Oh
Vampire
man,
Survivors games
literally
coming out.
every week is numerous ones on the Switch eShop, on Steam. It's That's the only thing that I feel like is just coming out. It's like, let's just make these 2D Vampire Survivor clones that are not as good as Vampire Survivors,
They're not as good as
or
Vampire
other
Survivors. They're 3 times the fucking cost.
could be more money, or they're super. I had a review a few on the eShop, and some of them are just like, so like, one was like stick figure man defender, whatever it was, where it's just like horribly drawn stick figures like in MS Paint, like there was no effort put into it at all. Like they're just not even trying. They're just trying to pump these things out, get them out the door to try to capitalize on
And
the whole
this is
single
where
stick action game.
the boss is.
Oh, it's the one that goes through the wall. The
Yep.
one that, like, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that one was in, I think it was in both. Not only was, you know what? Not It was not only in Contra 3 and Hardcore. It was actually also on the Contra Rebirth on WiiWare, which is like the best Contra game that you never played. Contra Rebirth on WiiWare is actually like a pretty awesome Contra,
Hmm.
and that's that same boss where like he punches his fingers through the wall, and he like separates them, and then like he sticks his face out, and then you got to shoot him in the face, and he spits
Mhm.
fire and stuff like that. It's a good boss. It's a nice looking effect too.
Yeah. And when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, this DLC is fucking awesome."
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get the license, like,
Use
lean
it.
into it, like
Yeah.
take advantage of it.
Yeah. No, they definitely included like way more. They in every one of their DLCs, I've
Hmm.
never been disappointed. Excuse me. The only one that I was ever super hesitant about was the Among Us one because I was like, I don't see how that fits,
I
and
mean,
they just
how
had
does
fun
it
with
fit?
it. Um,
Hmm.
so there are different Among Us. They all have different powers that you can unlock, and the level is like objective based. So like every couple minutes, it literally says, "Oh, like you're running out of the thing's running out of oxygen. You have to go here and
Hmm.
restart the oxygen." And so like you have to
Oh,
run
okay.
across the level as quickly as you
Mm.
can to, hit a button basically.
Okay.
And it's just it mixes it up enough. I didn't really like the layout of that level.
Hmm.
Um the DLC levels for the most part I feel are hit and miss, but most of the characters are almost always
Hmm.
good. And the new weapons are at least fun.
Yeah, that's so. I think to make the DLC successful, you need a good strong character to play as. B, you need a bunch of enemy variety. You need an IP that has like a bunch of different characters to fight against with different strengths and weaknesses. And then three, you need like cool set pieces, cool levels, to play as, or to play within, to make it a nice successful
So we have someone in our
DLC.
chat asking if we've ever played Magic Survival. I have played Magic Survival actually.
I have not played Magic Survival.
It's extremely similar.
Yeah, I played. It was called not Stickman's Arena. Was one I can actually look it up on the site in the review section. But yeah, Stickman's Arena was the Vampire Survivor clone that I played on Switch, and it's probably on PC too.
Most of them come out on PC. Normally,
Yeah,
they're coming
they
from
get
the Android or iPhone.
yeah, and they just get ported over.
Yeah. Um, and the funny thing is, I don't know if it was Magic Survival, but uh, this was the Vampire Survivors was not the first game to play like this. There was actually a game that was out on phones that the developers just really liked, so they
They
tried
just
to do
they
that, except better.
Yeah, they just kind of copied it. Actually, I just reviewed on MyGamer.com, our site that we write for, a game called Doug's Nightmare. It was released on everything, and it's uh, not a good. That's super repetitive, like not a good Vampire Survivor light. Like you get like individual levels, but it's just so it's a drag because like what makes Vampire Survivors I think good is like you're constantly getting upgrades. Like you fight for 20 seconds, bam, upgrade.
Yep.
Like you're constantly being rewarded. Whereas this game that I just reviewed, it's like enemies take way too many hits to kill. They're all the same. They all act the same. You need to have that constant variety where you're being rewarded with ridiculous upgrades literally every few seconds. That's what makes it fun. And it's like, oh, what am I going to get this time?
Yeah,
What better
like
gun can I get
right
now?
there. I don't know
What
what
can
I
I
did,
upgrade?
but I got 3
Yeah.
levels in a row.
But you got something, right? Exactly. That's what makes it fun and ridiculous. And like, here's where it just gets crazy right at the 20-minute mark, where the screen, it's like you can't even see what the hell's going on.
Yeah. I have a friend from college that actually will I'll randomly get a text message from, and he'll have done something stupid in Vampire Survivor, and it'll just be a video of it.
Played Geometry Survivor, which was taking Geometry Wars, the classic game from the early Xbox 360 arcade era, and just turned it into a survivor kind of game. Also, really not as good as this. Slower upgrades, not as interesting enemies. You're just fighting shapes, which is like fine, but still not as cool. So
28
there's
Minutes to Dawn is a Vampire Survivors clone. It's one of the few ones that I
mm,
would say it's actually kind of good.
mhm.
My only issue with that one is it's extremely difficult. Um, Vampire Survivors, it, if you know what you're doing, you can clear it the first. You can like clear stages the first couple of times that you play them.
Mhm.
But it. All right, time warp. But the more weapons you unlock, the easier the levels get. I don't think you can actually even evolve level or weapons when you first start. PlayStation, Android is cooked and oversaturated. Rare to actually see any good games. I will agree with that. Um, Mainly because we get review codes for a lot of those.
Another game. Speaking of review games, I reviewed a game called Hellwell a few months ago, and it was I guess you could call it a Vampire Survivors ish, but it mixed in a lot of tower defense elements. So what you would do is you'd still kind of like auto shoot at the guy closest to you within a closed arena, and you would still get an occasional upgrade, but instead of solely focusing on like upgrading your pea shooter weapon, you'd place towers down and let the towers do the shooting for you, and then you try to manipulate the crowd to bring them through your tower pathway so your towers kill the enemies.
Hmm.
But if the enemies bump into your tower, they lose health, right? So you kind of like you got to kind of manipulate them and walk them through in a certain way. It's a very interesting game, and I kind of liked it. It's one of those things where it's like the first one, even two, three times you play it, you kind of don't fully understand it. But then after you like play it a few times, you're like, oh, I get this. And it's like it was an interesting mix of this single stick action analog stick action game mixed with some light tower defense
That's
elements, which I
interesting.
appreciated.
Yeah.
It is and then I like the art style. It uses that I kind of like that 1-bit art style these days. Like I feel like a lot of games have been doing that lately, where it's just like a very simple kind of black and white, kind of these bold contrasting colors, and I just thought it worked really well. So check out Hellwell. You check out that review on MyGamer.com if you do a search for it. But that was another,
Yeah,
interesting take on the Vampire Survivors recipe.
I have absolutely bought games on Steam that were tagged with like Vampire Survivor like
Hmm.
and played them and just been like this.
It's not as good. Like I still compare everything to this because this is still king, even though it's like it was one of the like the first game that started all this, and all these other games had the opportunity to copy them, make it better. But I feel like a lot of them, like I haven't played one that has been better
I mean, there
than
were
than
other
Vampire
first
Survivors.
person shooters before Doom, but
Sure, but yeah,
Doom
exactly.
is the one that was everyone was
Yes.
called a Doom clone for,
Hmm.
15 years after it came out.
Another good comparison. Exactly. Yeah.
Um, Diablo clone was another good one.
Yeah. Look at all the million Diablo clones, but is anything like Diablo? No, it's still kind of the king. Still up there in terms of quality.
Yeah, Diablo 2 at least. Diablo 3, and
Yeah.
Diablo 4.
I still have to play Diablo 4.
You're not
I know it's on Game
you're not missing anything.
Pass. Yeah.
Of course, it's on Game Pass. Microsoft owns it.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. I just haven't. I played it for an hour. I just haven't been able to sink my teeth into it yet. That's going to be one of the next games. Actually, I think I might play because there's really no good games coming out anymore because the industry just sucks right now.
I think that was the first Diablo game that I actually skipped a majority of the plot.
Oh,
Like,
Diablo 4.
yeah, I just like it would get to like one of the talking scenes because they would talk and they would sit there for like 10 fucking minutes, and I'm like, half of the you're repeating your shit, you're repeating yourself over and over again. Uh,
And Diablo has such a deep story too. I mean, the lore is there's a lot to it. So to skip and like the cutscenes are always like really good in Blizzard games. Like they're exceptionally well done.
yes. So, what games do you play on your phone? I play a lot of idle games, like
Oh,
Magical
me,
Research. That's what I play on my
yeah.
phone.
I don't. Yeah, you know what? I don't play a lot of games on my phone. Honestly, what I do is I play every day. I play one Mario Run, 60
Okay.
second race, not because it's like necessarily like fun, but because I just want to get the free My Nintendo coins. You get 10 coins when you play a stupid 60-second run every day, and then you take your coins and you could redeem them for physical items on the Nintendo shop. So that's really what I do. And then on occasion, like if I in the summertime, if I go for a run or something like that, I'll boot up Pokemon Go just so it like gives me some incentive to like, keep my mind off like walking or running or doing
Mm.
physical, activity that I don't really want to be doing. I could catch, stupid Pokemon along the way. But yeah, I don't play a lot of mobile games.
I work in IT, so there's a lot of downtime. Um, so I either read or basically play phone games.
Hmm.
Idle games are just figuring out how to make numbers go up faster. It's
Pretty
basically
much.
it's an interactive spreadsheet for the most part. Um, also play a bunch of Carosoft games, so like Game Dev Story,
Hmm.
um, Ski Resort Story, enter business type name and add story at the
Hmm.
end of it. And that's
Yeah.
they did Sushi Story. Those are on console as well, but on on my on your phone they're between $3 and $5. On console they're like 15,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
which I'm just like,
Yep.
they are not, like, I love those games and I will buy every single one of them. They are not worth $15 in by any stretch of the imagination.
And it's crazy. Like, it sucks that the console digital marketplace is so much higher. You never get sales as good as Steam. It
Steam doesn't
sucks. I
even have
wish.
good sales
Yeah,
anymore.
and Steam doesn't have good sales anymore, but it's like you're still getting a better deal on Steam. There's like humble bundles and stuff like that, always for Steam, but never on console. Like, so you gotta
Yeah,
take that into consideration because yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I could get this on my phone where I don't really want to play it on my phone.
I
I want to
Carol's
play it, you
like,
know.
so I it Danner IT Dan 547, who's in our chat right now, um says he plays Dead Cells on his phone. I can't play games like Dead Cells
Yes.
on my phone.
Yeah, me neither.
I think
Yeah,
I own Dead Cells on my phone. I am completely incapable of controlling that to any degree. Oh,
unless you
here we
sync
go.
a Bluetooth controller, that's but
Here we
like
go.
just to use oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Right at the 27-minute. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
exactly what happens. Yep.
Oh no, it's the entire fight.
And so you can only go on the walls, or can you go anywhere still? Okay,
No,
so
no,
you can
just the
still.
walls. So it's
Okay.
just like the actual game.
Okay. Yes, that's cool. Yeah, and you get the fire that you got to run in a circle.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
it's all here.
Oh, you got to cut it. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Did you beat this guy before?
oh yeah. Yes, I've beaten this guy before. Like the day it came out.
Oh, okay. So is that the end now? Like if you kill him,
That's
like, or do you still
that's
got to
it.
finish? You still got to finish the 30
Death
minutes.
comes now.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing you can do. Like I can
Mm,
walk around this more,
okay.
but it's I'll just die off screen.
Let's just zoom in to a ridiculous amount.
Of continual
Like there,
explosions.
like there's no need to go in this close right now.
Apparently, Genshin Impact is now 90 gigs on a phone.
Oh, I went straight to 31 minutes. 90 gigs on a phone.
That's what I'm reading.
Got some Chivos.
Yeah. Okay,
Nice.
so you go down here to unlocks, and it'll give you a hint
Mm,
on what you need to do. So, like some of them,
okay.
it'll just say survive 15 minutes,
Yeah, yeah,
evolve.
yeah.
For a
Hmm.
lot of the evolve stuff, I just go
Hmm.
to the wiki
Oh, okay.
because some of that stuff you're probably not going to figure out on your own. All right, so for this week, this has been Gilman.
Yeah, and you could follow us at mygamer.com. My name is you could follow me on Twitter at ZachGaz, ZACKGAZ. My personal blog is squallsnake.com. Yeah, but go to MyGamer, put us in your favorites, check us out, bookmark us because we are covering the games that nobody else is covering. And what else? Recent reviews. Again, we cover games that are not the big AAA games. So, like, because there's really no big AAA games coming out. So, check out our review section. Again, put us in your favorites, mygamer.com, at ZachGaz, ZACKGAZ. And until next time, thank you for watching and game on.